Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ASUS ROG Dream League. Wait for it, wait for it. Live audience hype. It's almost like we rehearsed it. See you in a moment.
Seconds until the creep spawn.
Welcome back to the ASUS ROG Dream League. As you can hear, we've got a live audience to confirm. I checked all their pulses, and I went the extra mile. And I also like to say that no one in there has breast cancer, as far as I can tell. Sheng will be around later for the gentlemen. But it's fine. But now we've upset 20% of our audience. Let's introduce Bruno to win him back. How's it going, Bruno?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing all right.
You know, actually, I heard it was a live audience, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to dress up today. And that's kind of a tall order already. And I was expecting everyone to do the same, but I'm like, at least you're matching hoodies.
Yeah.
I guess
dude, look, it matches the axe as well. Color coordinated. I mean, what the fuck is this?
What?
Like, it's like you read what color coordination is, and then you just...
It's color theory. It's called color theory.
You've actually read it, haven't you?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Keep trying.
And you didn't want to go with it?
I just want to break the rules, man.
Right. Well, we're happy you're here.
Rocket sets the rules. I break. It's not Rocket. That's Monster. Monster sets the drinks. Rocket sets the rules. I break the rules.
All right. Well, we're happy you're doing that. Happy you're here. How's it going, Shane?
Also dressed up. Pretty good as well. This is my good jumper.
Lumi, Andy, here for some commentary, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Ready for the super weekend?
Yeah, of course. Look, I've been told that aside from Bruno and I, everybody else up here looks like hobos.
I can
confirm to that.
Is that the makeup artist again?
Yes.
She's out to get us.
Yeah, but that's kind of my thing.
It's true.
Like, I just look homeless all the time. That way people send me money.
That's good.
That's true, actually.
You have a lot of subscribers on your stream.
Yeah.
Is that the look? Is that
I guess. I mean, you just sit there and wear whatever's comfortable, and apparently comfortable for me is looking like I've been on the street for like a month.
Did you have a sub spike after the day where you had like blind glasses on? Because now you can't see. That makes the Dota a little bit more difficult.
It's like a consistent stream.
That explains why you need an observer.
And plus, I mean, people know that I basically feed Scriff. So that's true. We have like the Sarah McLachlan commercials where it's like for $4.99 you could feed Scriff. That's basically my stream.
That's probably too much
Scriff's
money.
actually working today on camera.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you guys want to see
there.
Scriff commentate in Swedish, he's on the Swedish stream doing some of that. All right. So today's games, we've got 6 today. It's the Super Weekend. Meet Your Makers. They're super. Going up versus Team Empire first. Hopefully Meet Your Makers pick something entertaining because they're at the bottom of the group. And then we're going to see Fnatic against Team Dog. I don't know the standings right now, so I'm not sure how important these matches are, but I'll find out in a few moments. Fnatic then go up against Alliance, so a good kind of double for Fnatic, and hopefully they're going to take both, because I love them so much. Na'Vi will go against Cloud9. Cloud9, up and down their performances lately, but we'll see what they can do here in the ASUS ROG Dream League. And then we're going to have Evil Geniuses versus Alliance, a hard game to kind of predict a winner. Both of
Alex
them
Garfield's team would win.
Yeah, Alex Garfield wins either way. And then last, we're going to finish up with EG versus Meet Your Makers. So these are the 6 games. Any you're looking forward to in particular?
The Fnatic games, because they can go up into the top 6 with these wins if they win.
I'm looking forward to Na'Vi versus Cloud9, kind of for the same reason, actually. Na'Vi, they have to win. Fnatic, they have to win. It's about those two who's going to get the 6th spot. So
I'm excited for the Alliance games, specifically because we saw a different kind of style of drafting last time we had a chance to see Alliance in the Dream League, so I want to know if they're going to go with more of that, because I believe EGM was the drafter for that particular game, and it was awesome. So I want to see how they play.
Yeah, for me, it's Dog, Empire, and Cloud9 because they're vying for 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and I think today and tomorrow will kind of tie things up. I think if Dog makes it to the top 1 seed, that's kind of a big deal because you're comparing Dog and sponsor team to Empire.
A sponsor team, but not for long.
What does that mean?
Not for long. I mean, like, they came up as a team, what, 6-7 weeks ago?
Yes.
Not even practicing?
They didn't even, like, it was not even a team. It was like North American rejects right now, right?
Right.
And it was just like 5 guys together.
Vying for top 1 in Europe. That's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
So.
All right, I'm going to say I'm looking forward to meet your makers. I really want them to kind of push
But you
Sigma.
can't meet my makers.
Huh?
You can't meet my makers. We're not in that stage yet.
Come on, man. I'm not sure where you were made, though. Probably some sort of laboratory by scientists, Bruno. But if you've tuned in, not for Dota 2, but you want to win stuff, we have a motherboard. And I've been told I can't drop it. So apparently this motherboard from ASUS is not even released yet. It's coming out, I believe, Sunday.
That's tomorrow.
Yes. No, it's tomorrow. Well done. I'm not sure what it does, but it's motherboard.
Yeah.
And I can't drop it.
Has like rhythm luck in it.
Yeah. Very well color coordinated, wouldn't you say, Bruno?
I know. Matching me.
Yeah, it's very matching. To get hold of this, we're actually going to have a MVP competition over the course of the Super weekend. So you're just going to have to predict who is going to be your MVP. And guys in the audience are more welcome to play along on your phones, because you need to go to facebook.com/ROG Nordic. Not ASUS, just ROG Nordic. And then you can walk away with it if someone wins in the audience.
Yeah.
This exact one.
But is it for today, or is it today and tomorrow?
Today and tomorrow.
Okay, good.
It's a double
So
header.
you have to come back tomorrow, audience.
Yes, that's true. Also, though, let's take a look at last week's games. This week's games, earlier on, I didn't get to see them, and it was Wednesday, so I don't know who won or nothing about anything that's happening here, but ROG's Kiss went versus Cloud9.
This was actually a surprising game to me.
It wasn't that surprising.
Well, the result wasn't surprising, considering that half of Cloud9 was not there.
Yeah, they only had 3 of 5, basically.
Good point, but still, ROG's Kiss is in that place in the standings for a reason. They were not consistent at all during the game, the other days. Even like other teams that are not in the top 6 won versus ROG's Kiss. So when you see them fighting Cloud9, you're like, okay, maybe just like one guy being in top shape can defeat them. That was not the case. It was North American rejects all along.
I don't know, this game was, I think Sadoy played exceptionally well. Like, just in the highlight, you saw that he was able to isolate Bone 7 behind the tower, the mech carrier basically away from his entire team. They just took really good engagements. And I mean, granted, Cloud9 had stand-ins. To me, it was still like a game where ROG's Kiss played really well. So.
Lumi, not a rhetoric question. How good was y'all's Tusk?
It was okay. I think at the end of the match, I was thinking to myself, was Tusk actually a big part of that victory? And to me, it wasn't. It was Sadoy, or it was the Clockwork. It was Solo on the mid lane. So I felt like if you picked another hero that could have just came out even on the tri lane, that would have been fine. With that said, they actually did shut down Envy very hard. Like, he didn't have any farm.
Yeah,
he had to go Blink first. Normally you go Midas and then Blink, and then you secure your mid game. He had to go Blink first, and after he tanked a couple of ganks, and he wasn't a factor anymore. So
yeah, I think Sadoy played really, really well. Like, beating Darkseer 1v1 is no easy feat, like.
They solo killed each other too, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it ended up being like a 1v1 top, I think.
Yeah.
And I want to say Bone 7 died first.
yes, he did.
And then Sadoy died.
Yeah.
I don't know, it was weird.
All right, are we going to see more Tusk today?
I hope so. I fucking love that hero, man.
Looking forward to that.
All right, we'll see if it happens. Also, on Wednesday, Alliance went up versus Empire. And this match...
Was awesome.
Was it really?
It was. This was the game that I was talking about, where they picked, like, I wouldn't say unconventional, just something that we haven't seen for a while. There was a Kunk on the team. I believe there's a Shadow Demon as well, and Rubik. And they first picked Rubik. Like, think of TI3, first pick Rubik, basically, is what
Rubik and Darkseer.
Alliance decided to go for this game. And the basic strategy they had was, you're not going to be able to focus anybody long enough to even get a kill. Like, there was a very long team fight. I don't know. I don't think it was actually this one. Maybe it was. But there was no kill on the side of Alliance. It was just they got kited out the entire time. You can see, like, Always on the Fly played support Wraith King that game, and they had Mag on Axe. This Axe was given 3 kills and a super fast Blink Dagger, still couldn't do anything. And the only time Alliance ever gave anything away is when they aggressively dove top, which subsequently gave Mag his Blink.
It also really felt like the farming Leshrac didn't work out at all for them.
No.
No.
It was the first of very few times I've seen Empire being out-drafted. They had a lineup that had farming Lesh, like you said, an Axe that was like core, so you had to win the lane so hard to make sure you snowball, which they didn't. And that lineup, like Andy said, don't play well from behind. They kind of suck.
Yeah.
All right, so Alliance took that victory. Last game was Virtus.pro versus Na'Vi, and both of these wanting wins to try and get into the top 6. How did it go down?
Well, Virtus Pro had to win against Navi. They had to win if they wanted to be still in the competition and the possibility to be for DreamHack Summer. And Navi, kind of in the same situation, they had to win just because they needed to be safe in the coming days.
That toss.
But yeah.
I think we both lost it on that toss.
We were both like, what the hell?
Kuroki had some big toss though.
Kuroki had better tosses than the Tiny.
I don't think there was ever a stage in the game where I thought VP were ahead here.
Look at like how manly is that?
Yeah, man.
Like 1v1 versus...
No, he has strength morph at this point, I think.
He did.
Like, he's like, yep.
1.8k life or something.
Maybe just tanking it up.
Yeah.
Okay,
he will
mind,
die.
he dies.
No, he does. Oh, he does.
No, he definitely does.
That was ambitious.
Bruno's like getting excited at a replay. Like, oh my God,
Do you think Rubik has?
literally watched this game. It's okay.
All right. Yeah, so Na'Vi took the victory there, which means the standings have been updated for the last 2 days in our Super Weekend, and we can see exactly what each team is going to need to do. And you want to come top 6 to get that spot at DreamHack Summer and qualify for the tournament, which is roughly, I think, how much prize money is now?
Oh, it's about $239,000.
Not bad, not bad. So Empire are actually going to be joint first with one more game played over Cloud9. Cloud9 lost their match. Then you've got Team Dog Alliance sitting pretty comfortably, I would say.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, you've got Na'Vi, Evil Geniuses, Fnatic, and ROG's Kiss that can all make something happen in the Super Weekend.
Yeah, that's kind of deceiving because of the 6th position of Evil Geniuses is in. It's just because they have 2 less matches. They have 1 less loss than Na'Vi. So if everyone wins all their matches, which will still mean that Na'Vi has to play EG, which will happen later, EG would be 5th. So it's just a temporary 6. And it's Na'Vi the one that's more in trouble, because if you look at Fnatic, they're also with 5 losses, so whoever slips first is going to be out.
Who do you think is not going to make the cut, guys?
It's really hard to say, to be honest. Like, I want to say Fnatic are probably the ones who I don't think are going to make it. I don't know why. I just kind of have this feeling, like, obviously they've been moving around a little bit, you know? And they're all going to, what is it, London is where their boot camp is, I think. And Hani was like the only one there. I know they actually missed a match as well this week, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I just feel like if you don't have the time to sit around and practice as a team, it's just...
Who's not going to make it, Shane? Who's going to make it?
I think for the same reasons, Fnatic. Like,
You're going to count out Fnatic as well?
Well, if
My God.
if they're
I
not
mean, I
practicing
want them to
together,
get in,
and they
but
can't
I
even
just-
play official games, they're probably not practicing too much. Like,
All right, Lumi, talk some sense into him.
So I think EG is for sure safe because they're playing MYM somewhere down the line.
okay.
right under the bus.
Yeah. So
They're also playing EG against Alliance.
Yeah, and Na'Vi.
Oh,
Not today, but they're playing Na'Vi.
gonna take that back, Lumi.
Do you want to change your mind?
no, I think Fnatic is the weaker dog here. Just for gut feeling as well.
Fnatic
That's it.
are a strong lion. How dare you? They'll be fine. Bruno?
I'm actually going to say EG, just because I want to be rebellious.
Okay. All right. So we'll see what's gonna happen over the course of the Super Weekend. But only 6 teams will go through. And today we spoke about the games, and this is exactly when they're starting. So at 3 o'clock, CEST, Meet Your Makers against Empire, Fnatic versus Dog, and then Fnatic again versus Alliance, which will be 2 very important games for Fnatic and 2 very hard games. Then you have Cloud9 versus Na'Vi, which is more important for Na'Vi to take the win there and really secure their spot. And then EG, again, are going to have 2 important games, one against Alliance today, and then the next against Meet Your Makers. So tough, important, and Meet Your Makers are the only team there that, you know, don't really have a huge shot of going to the top 6, as in none. But that also means they might be able to bring out some interesting tactics and throw some curveballs at the other members of the tournament and the league.
Especially against EG in the last game. I think if they can screw up EG, it'll be huge for the tournament.
Yeah, and EG play Alliance first, and you see momentum is a big thing. So if EG lose versus Alliance, maybe Meet Your Makers will be able to make something happen in the best of 1 matches. So let's talk about the first game of today and introduce it. It's going to be Meet Your Makers versus Team Empire. We can meet some of the members of Meet Your Makers. And so far, like, did you see him play earlier on in the week?
I didn't know.
No.
Nope.
Excellent. Well, we're
We
all
have
in
no
for a
idea what they're bringing to the
surprise.
table. I don't know, man.
So prepared.
Are they still playing Rise mid?
I
No,
heard he
no,
was removed
he was-
from
yeah.
that position.
Yeah, he was back into support.
Okay.
But that...
Yeah.
Crit, by the way, is the only player on that team that I think is really solid.
Damn.
That's what I'm calling it now. I mean, I could join Meet Your Makers.
Yeah, but that's kind of what everyone said
As a
when they
coach.
saw the team, too. Because, right, it was like Mini and Crit, I think, were the 2 that people were like, oh, yeah, this is kind of like a really good support duo.
And Alexis was also like playing really well.
yeah, but the
decently.
thing is, like, I mean, before the team was even really seen. Like when you saw the
Yeah,
roster, it's like, oh yeah, these two players are pretty solid. Then Exist showed that he was really good, and they're like,
mini
ah,
assist.
we don't need these guys. It's fine.
All right.
Yep.
For Team Empire, we're going to meet some of their members.
They're pretty good. Pretty
They're
good
all
team.
right.
Here's the thing about Empire, right? They lost the past game, and they were the guys that were the favorites. They just lost one game versus Cloud9 before. They were feeling secure. Now they're playing versus MYM. A match that everyone expects them to win. So I think it's not enough for them to win. They have to win like super, super strong. 15, 20 minutes.
I think they can just win.
I think they still get the same amount of points.
Well,
Here's the thing. They will get the same amount of points, but look at it from a point of the morale, right? Like if you take a 50 minutes to defeat MYM,
I like this.
then you kind of like second guess yourself. Like, are we really like in stride? We're supposed to beat this team.
Maybe
Now,
they
if
just
you win in
relax.
15, 20 minutes, you're like, this is us. This is really good. So they can face the last match tomorrow. Pretty convinced.
Okay.
Brilliant. Yeah, maybe we'll meet some of the Empire players, but we have a tremendous 15 minutes until the game starts, guys.
Oh, geez.
So get your books out. Maybe you guys at home want to tweet some questions in before the match
Yeah,
kicks
you didn't
off.
do that part. What kind of host are you?
Well, you know, it wasn't on my notepad. I just read what I see, dude. Like, so look, I
Whatever's in
can
the
tell you this
teleprompter.
guy's Mag, and his name's Andre Chineko.
Silent C.
Chipemko.
Silent.
C.
Oh, how'd you know that?
I don't.
Oh.
He just pretends, man.
Okay. Yeah, so Empire overall players, who's been doing well and which one's probably going to be going up for an MVP on the Super Weekend?
I thought Always Want to Fly, actually, outside of the Wraith King game, I think it's been pretty good for him, like throughout the entire tournament. I think he came in and people were like, yeah, he's pretty good, but is he really good as a sport player? And I think he's done really well.
What about Misery this week? He's played amazingly, like Skyrat and Sanky.
Yeah, but we already said Misery was the
No,
MVP.
isn't it the whole week?
No.
No. It's those
Monday
3
to
days.
Wednesday
It's
is
the
1
same
week.
week.
And then Saturday.
it's
We
not.
just
No.
went over this like 10 minutes
It's
ago.
clearly the same week. That's all
Get
I'm
out.
saying.
Really isn't.
That
Shane
was on
doesn't
Wednesday.
listen at all.
Today is.
You know, some weeks start on Sunday for some cultures.
It's still Saturday.
Well, then it's not the same week tomorrow.
No, but today it is.
I'm not sure.
I don't even know what's
you.
going on.
This is
There's going to be a long-ass 15 minutes, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah. It's all right. People are going to tweet us in. If I had a hand mic, I'd go into
What do they have to tweet us? That's the thing. You
You can tell us, Bruno, as co-host,
Well, here's the thing.
an equally paid personality on camera.
Normally, what I do is ask Lumi.
They're always
Yeah,
terrible.
you just throw it to me because you don't have a question. No, I don't got one either. I wasn't
Okay.
prepared.
No. Here's the thing. I don't have anything either.
I
So.
was only joking. I don't want to speak to the audience. They're scary.
Oh wow.
I got a mic.
You have a mic.
Yeah.
You test
You
it
can
if
go
it
get
works.
predictions in from the audience.
Should I?
Well, you haven't. I've already gone over and said hi to him.
It's not working.
All
Well,
right,
it
we're
is
going to send
working.
Bruno out there, guys. Make sure you talk to him and be really nice, and don't steal any of his flair because he needs it. All right, but you guys can either ask us questions, or you can. We'll ask you questions about who you think's going to win. We can throw it over to Bruno, who looks amazing.
I know. So here I'm with the audience, and yeah, let's start with a little bit of predictions and fan favorites. So, hello, how's it going?
I'm good.
You're good.
Yeah,
Where did you come from?
Sweden.
That's good.
Local boy.
So
I want to know his name.
Let me guess. Yeah, what's your name?
I'm Martin Linder,
Okay.
aka Leshrak for the win.
Let's try for the
Beautiful
win.
Swedish name.
Yeah, and also a good studio sub. So good man.
Understandable.
So yeah, do you have a favorite team going into this competition?
Cloud9.
Cloud9.
Woo!
Lumi's happy. You just
man.
made him happy. So why Cloud9? What do you like about that team?
Cause I'm a friend of Pilot
Okay, good.
That's it, basically.
That's it. So if they remove Pilot Eye, you just don't care about the team anymore. They suck.
no.
I mean, would
I like Sing Sing too.
I mean,
like
would
Sing
you be
Sing
a
too.
friend of Eternal Envy? You know.
No.
Okay, good.
Wow.
Yeah. I like this guy.
Fine. Okay, thank you. I'm going to move on. And hey, how's it going?
Hey, it's fun.
Good. What's your name?
Norton. Like the antivirus, yes.
Okay, it's a bit complicated.
Beautiful Swedish name.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What part of Sweden are you from?
Västra Haninge.
Okay. Is that where? For
It's
people that are not in Sweden, like north,
Nobody knows far away.
Okay, far away. Here I'm sort of like the lands of George R. Martin, kind of. The White Walkers are there,
Yeah.
kind of a thing. Great.
Yeah.
You looking forward to see any particular team today?
Well, I was hoping for Sigma before the tournament started, but that didn't really work out.
Yeah, that's not really good now, is it?
No, kind of interesting for the EG games.
Okay, who do you like from EG?
I kind of like Fear, but he's not playing too bad.
Yeah.
Artis is playing really well, but the entire team is actually doing extremely well, even though Artis gets a lot of the attention because he gets so farmed.
Right.
The entire team actually plays really well around that. They actually open up the map for him, which is kind of interesting to see.
Yeah, so they're
Holy
gonna
shit, get this guy up on stage. Shane, join the audience. You're done. This is like live auditions for next ASUS ROG DreamLeague.
So EG are playing Alliance today, and Alliance is kind of like a fan favorite from Sweden, although I'm surprised no one said Alliance so far. I was kind of expecting that.
Well, they're disappointing right now. They were good like a year ago. Now they're just making Sweden look bad.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
I mean,
Damn.
you have to understand, right? Like, Team Revenge, they got kicked out of the qualifiers. And there were like a million Peruvians saying, we don't care, we want the team back, we support the team because they're Peruvian. There were news on the official news in the newspapers about the Dota team being removed from the World Championship of Dota. And you're saying, Alliance are playing bad, I don't care if they're Swedish.
Well, we're kind of spoiled. They were a lot better earlier, like this year, but now they're like falling off. They're not improving as well as many other teams.
Okay.
Like they haven't gotten worse. They just haven't improved a lot like other teams. They haven't evolved with the rest of the scene.
I understand. Loda, if you're hearing that, get better, son.
Any opinions from us on that, guys? Have Alliance not done anything in terms of improving, or you think they're on the verge of improving for TI?
Well, Andy is on the draft train of EGM, right? Like
I am. Yeah.
he thinks Alliance is going to win this because they would draft well.
Well,
EGM drafting.
I think that if they change the drafter and the style like that he has comparative to what Loda and S4 typically like to draft is completely different. So if they let him draft, I think it'll be interesting. I'm not saying it'll necessarily be amazing, but the last time EGM drafted, it went really freaking well. So I don't know. I hope.
Yeah, he picked some weird stuff. It works out pretty well.
We'll go back to Bruno then.
And speaking of EGM, we have him here in the audience. So, hello, how's it going?
Hello.
I'm sorry, you just were wearing reading. What's your name?
Simon.
Simon, nice
Beautiful
to meet you, Simon.
Swedish name.
Yeah. So, who are you rooting for?
No one really. I'm only here for Monster and hot dogs.
That's great. Sponsors are happy now. That's
Kind of
great.
why we're here, yeah.
What's your favorite Monster flavor or color? I don't know.
Assault.
Great.
What bus shelter does he come from?
That's
Excuse
really
me?
mean, Jen.
Oh, no. Which part of Sweden?
Stockholm.
Ah, beautiful city.
Stockholm. Yeah. Heard it's nice. Never been there myself. Live too far away.
All right, Bruno, is there any Alliance fans in the audience? Oh, look, there you go,
there they
Bruno.
are.
We found you some Alliance fans.
Okay, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna go with the guys. How's it going, guys?
Hey,
Hello.
it's good.
What's your names?
I'm Lucas. I'm Anton.
Great. Alliance fans.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah.
Even if they play bad.
Yeah.
They don't really play bad.
They never play bad.
No.
Good. Okay, so Alliance are playing today versus EG.
Yeah.
Are they gonna win or are they gonna stomp?
Stomp him.
Yeah, if well, I'm sort of agreeing with Draskell here. That since EGM started drafting, I think like it's just been a little bit different. I think they've started to transition into this patch, and they're starting to understand how they have to draft. They can't really do the same thing that they did in like TI3 and all that. So yeah, I'm thinking they're improving a lot right now. So like they stomped Empire before, so I don't see why they wouldn't stomp them again and stomp EG as well.
Okay, that's good. Favorite Alliance player for both of you?
Loda.
S4.
S4. Good. Favorite Swedish player? Could be the same.
Favorite Swedish player.
I have no idea.
There's Era, there's Pylai, there's no one else.
I'm still thinking it's S4. I
S4?
think, yeah.
Loda. Great. That's great.
Do we have any Fnatic fans out there, Bruno?
I don't think so, no.
There's no Fnatic
Not
fans, because Alliance play versus Fnatic
Right.
today as well. That's
That's
the first
true.
match, and then they go up against EG. All right, so we'll leave Bruno down there just for a minute. I guess we're almost going to be starting soon. Bruno's now sat down as part of the audience. I was going to say, Bruno, if anybody's got any questions there, you can find them while we talk amongst ourselves.
They can come here.
If you ever come back to the show. So if you want to find questions, Bruno, more than welcome. But yeah, the game at hand, Meet Your Makers versus Empire. Is there anything really to talk about this other than Meet Your Makers are just going to have to surprise, Empire are going to turn up really strong?
I think you kind of mentioned it already. So when you have nothing to lose, you can pretty much do whatever you want. Like you can pick some clowny shit and maybe make it work. I think that's probably what MYM are going to have to bring to the table. In terms of just how they play, I think Empire are pretty much better in every single way. But the draft, I mean, you never know.
So you guys think that MYM's going to do something different? I think Empire, this is a good chance for them to try...
Leshrac carry again, maybe?
Or whatever, like try a new hero, a new row, or something like that.
They're safe in the top 6.
They are. And I think MYM's a safe opponent to try things against because they're better in every way, according to Drasco.
I don't know, man. I think if you want to try strats that are going to legit work, you try them against a team that you know performs at a level that you can see if you were over or underperforming with the strategy. But we have some tweets already in, unless Bruno's got some questions from the audience.
You can go to the tweets first.
Go for tweets? Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
I
Bruno.
can't even see him.
What have we got? From Smeed Dizzle, we got at DH Dream League. Which team surprised you the most with how well or how poorly they performed in the league?
We can ask the audience that, actually.
Yeah, sure.
That's great. So I'm going to go here.
Anybody want to answer this question? Just raise your hands.
Raise your hands. There's someone there. And there's someone there. Let's go.
Okay.
Follow me, camera. It's going to be hard.
Into the
dark. It's all dark.
Bruno, don't go to that gentleman. It's dark over there.
Hey, how's it going? Come here. Yeah. Let's go to the light. Let's walk him to the light. How's it going? What's your name?
David.
David. Okay, so that's the question that we have right there. Which team surprised you the most with how poorly they played?
Well, easily Team Dog.
Team Dog?
Yeah, easily.
Yeah.
The worst team was probably Sigma.
Mm-hmm. Worse than MYM?
Yeah, I think. MYM was kind of expected to do this.
Okay.
The live shuffle.
So yeah, we need you more into the light.
There we go.
Now we can see you. That's great.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sorry, guys. I don't want to give you my back. But yeah, so coming into this tournament, which team do you think was going to win?
EG, I thought. Maybe Alliance if they picked up the pace, which they seem to have done in the later days. But EG and Cloud9 maybe.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Okay, thank you very much. And maybe...
I think that's pretty spot on with... I think Sigma actually did play worse than your makers.
Well, they had an expectation
level,
right? People come into it and they're like, oh, Sigma, we're riding a little bit of hype still. Sure, they weren't playing as well as they did originally when they were doing their 5-man pick Pugna every game strategy. But they had an expectation. So.
MYM's actually completing the thing as well. Sigma disbanded halfway through. It's not a great.
No.
Not great. We got another tweet coming in here from Captain Paddy. I don't know if I'm going to scream this because it's in caps, but I'll just read it. But what the holy fuck? Tuned in to at DH Dream League, and 2GD has no fucking hair. Where is James's lovely hair?
I think a story is in order there, James.
Well, it's just we went out for a haircut, right?
As a team.
As you do. No, the fucked up thing with the house, okay? You have to understand this. When one person has a good idea, we're like lemmings. So I wake up and I'm like, I'm going to go for a haircut today. And then someone else hears it, goes, oh yeah, I have hair. I could also use a haircut. So Scriff's like, I'll join you. And then so I'm like, okay, I'll wait around. And while I'm waiting for Scriff, the conversation of hair is aloft in the house. And then Bruno walks out and he's like, what are you guys talking about? Got to get our haircuts. He's like, that's a great idea. I'll also come and get my haircut.
And then Shane walks out and keeps walking.
Shane walks out.
I wanted to go to the shop in the first place. That was the reason we were going to get
we were going down. And so, normally you just drop in like one person with a haircut. We're like a group of 4 people going for haircuts. It just feels, odd. And then, unfortunately, because Bruno's been to this hairdresser before, there's actually a real hairdresser. And then there's the guy's mate, who's also there.
He's cheaper, though.
And so I got my haircut by him, and he gave me a Hitler haircut. So really, it was.
He did.
It was, and so I had Scriff shave it off.
Yeah.
And some people have complimented it. Some people not so much.
Hey man, I'm all about not having hair.
Yeah, I'm joining your team.
Yeah,
this is it.
Now we outnumber the people with hair.
Yeah.
It's important, man.
Empyrean's coming over.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We called them in.
Hey, actually, tomorrow, because, we've got Shiva flying in, Toby, Jess, and not else who's flying in. Yeah, I'm going to try and get them over to the studio. So if people are here tomorrow, might have some guest appearances.
Nice.
Get Toby to cast a game. And then not pay him for it.
We'll finally have some hype. Holy shit. Be good, man.
Yeah, he's on that little hexagon. He's our hype. It will be awesome. But yeah, that's what happened with the hair. Not a great story, but we are a house of lemmings. Okay, so how's the draft going, guys?
It's actually not
Oh,
started.
fuck.
We're just waiting for everyone to say ready. And apparently everyone at the DreamLeague just has this habit of... How do you guys do that every single time?
Okay.
It's fine, lads.
What is it with having like liquid and just I have to spill it right next to cables?
Why have you got it down there?
That
Look,
wasn't
we've
me.
got a
No,
glass of
that
water on
wasn't
the
me.
We can't
table.
put it up here.
You're not actually not supposed to put it up
Yeah,
there.
because we're not sponsored by.
Monster's okay
Water.
with showing
Just put a
water
sticker on it and it'll be fine.
No, electricity and water.
You know
is
what?
fine
You never
together.
get water anymore. You just can't. You don't get anything to
Okay.
drink.
That was Lumi the last time. That wasn't even me.
Yeah, but you've both done it now.
Okay.
And he's
fair
the
enough.
line guy, man. Hey, so what? The game's not starting?
It just started.
started.
Like,
Oh,
literally,
it's just started.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they were like,
It
is
is
everyone ready?
loading.
And Empire were like, maybe
Cool.
we go for a smoke.
Well, you know, it is 3 o'clock and we're on,
Yeah.
we want to be on time. Bruno, you want to rejoin us?
Yeah, let's go.
Thank you, studio audience. Round of applause from up here for looking after Bruno.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Don't worry about
I
that.
was
It's
not
fine.
worried
Leave you
about
alone
this.
for 5 minutes.
There's a lot of electrical
I got
cables
really
around here, by the
excited.
way. We just want to add some excitement to the show, as we need to do it. All right, when they're in the draft, let me know, and then
They
we'll,
are in the draft.
we'll send it that way. Okay, so it's going to be the first game of our Super Weekend, starting on time. It's amazing. It's Meet Your Makers versus Empire. I'll leave it to the lovely commentators to introduce what's happening. And thanks, everybody, for turning up today. It's really awesome. So I hope you enjoy all the games, and this is going to be the first.
All right, our first match out of 6 is Meet Your Maker versus Team Empire.
I'm gonna get some tissues.
And yes, somebody's gonna
Oh
go
my
get
God.
tissues. I'm gonna get a
a big
chair.
mess.
Unbelievable, dude.
Yeah, you get to see the live chair shuffle, where
Yeah.
the commentators
People
will
hear
walk
noise in the
away
background?
from the camera and not actually know what's happening in the draft,
It's okay.
That's why I'm here.
and
kind of like-
actually kind of like describe it while getting their chairs.
We normally have like a system, right? Like when it goes to in-game, Lumi takes it. Like I used to do it at
Yeah.
the beginning, but Lumi's like, I want the practice. I'm like,
Lumi,
okay, fine.
Yeah, Lumi takes the draft while 2 people get chairs.
Right.
And then when you come back, you take over the draft, and then Lumi gets his chair.
It's very complicated.
This is the stuff you're going to learn. When
Or you
you're,
can just look at like 2 heroes and not really make anything of it because most teams ban the same stuff. So
Well,
it's
there's
like,
a Mirana ban, first ban, which is not normally there. You normally see a Centaur, you normally see an Ember
that's
Spirit.
a quality of life ban. That's just, I hate playing against Mirana because arrows can suck it. That's how I feel.
This takes me back to like 0.48, like 3-4 years
Wow,
ago.
wow.
This is
Okay.
really long time. I don't think Mirana ever actually got first ban,
No,
like recently at least.
no.
Against Cloud9 sometimes.
Yeah,
It's a
okay.
respect ban. That doesn't
Yeah.
really count.
So now, yeah, what do you call it? Quality of life ban?
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty
What if,
much.
what if you could ban an item against a team?
BKB?
No,
That would be
Midas
magic
against
stick.
Cloud9.
No, you
win.
just ban BKB
No,
every
you just,
single game.
actually, you just ban
Unsolved.
teleport scroll, right? Isn't that the best item in the game?
I mean, look at EG, right? Like all these teams picking like non-BKB lineups, and they just run Darkseer, Tidehunter, and shit, and they just crush with it. So it's really good.
Okay.
I think it's relatively
You have to ban it before
Well,
the
BKB
draft,
is
of course.
actually a game-losing item.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But that's like, you have to ban the items before you start the draft. Because if you have the draft already and then like, okay, let's ban BKBs.
Ban BKB.
Yeah.
No, just ban BKB, pick Omni, man. Game solved.
That's
Somehow.
true. Lumi is really like not great against Omni. I've seen it.
I see that.
Holy shit, man. I have no runes, no wards. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so MYM, they first picked the Wisp. I really like that because obviously having the unpredictability of being able to gank, good map presence, Wisp overall really strong hero, and plus it can potentially put Empire in the back foot if you manage to get decent laning phase. So I think this is something that they kind of needed to do if they wanted to be able to take anything away from Empire. I don't think they can play like traditional lineup and do well. I think they have to do something crazy.
Alright. Does that force Empire to ban out Tiny and stuff? Like,
Well, it depends on what Empire feel comfortable with. I mean, Lycan's already banned. I don't know if necessarily you would pick a Lycan against Tiny anyway, because late game Tiny actually like smashes Lycan pretty hard. It's just like getting that 25-minute window where the Lycan's going to be able to outpush and try to get map control that way. So, I mean, it's on the table. They could go Sven just as easily. I think Sven's still really solid
Okay,
if you
that's
have a
nice.
Wisp. CK is not
with
really...
that buff, man.
Yeah, but it's 50% chance for one more illusion. It's pretty awful.
GG.
Like, it's a pretty bad hero.
Okay, so, I mean, you talked about CK, Sven. There's also Ursa. Ricky was
Yeah.
kind of an old favorite for Wisp. Now, imagine all those kind of melee right-click carries. And then if Team Empire drafts a Treant, which we see a lot of teams use against like Lycan and stuff. How do you feel about Treant being able to deal with Wisp partners in general? Because
I don't...
Just get Ghost Scepter.
What?
Can you Ghost Scepter out of Overgrowth still? You could.
No.
Before. No, that's ensnare. It's not. Isn't it
It's ensnare. It's nets. Like Meepo net and Naga net, you can go Scepter.
Right.
but you can't go Scepter Overgrowth.
Ensnare and Entangle is different.
I mean, I guess from like a logical standpoint, you should be able to, because it's like physical
ethereal,
roots
and it's like a root that is like, whoop, it's not there anymore.
Yeah, they're going to go with the Tiny, so good call there. But Wraith King picked up from Team Empire, and to be totally honest, I think Tiny, during probably, I'd say the first 25 minutes of the game or so, he is kind of like that one-cycle hero who goes in, like toss, avalanche, kill somebody, or avalanche toss, whatever. But when you get to the late game, normally you would say Wraith King is good against those heroes that have that kind of a combo that go for just the insta-kill. But Tiny still has an insane amount of sustained damage, and he's going to have overcharge damage reduction, massive attack speed, and he can just relocate all of the maps. So I still feel like this combo is going to be decent against Empire right now, and you have things like Nyx still available who can be run as like an offlaner, maybe even potentially a 1v1, depending on what kind of lanes you want to run. So I think MYM are still in okay shape. I'm just not sure if they're going to be able to get to a stage in the game where the Tiny is going to be able to be that kind of a carry.
So we agree that Wraith King only needs pretty much like Tress and Blink Dagger to start doing something, being really annoying.
Blade Mail is pretty good as well.
Yeah, but that's like kind of a luxury item after. Like you don't need a Blade Mail to start fighting. With that in mind, he doesn't need that much farm. Is it like, does it always make sense to put him on an offensive tri-lane since he has a stun, it's going to be useful, and he doesn't really need to just like AFK farm for 10 minutes?
I think in this game, when you have Darkseer and Wraith King, you have the luxury of waiting to see. Like you don't just like start drafting aggressive tri-lane heroes, because Darkseer by himself is such a good laner. So I think you could just wait and see. Yeah, the option of offensive tri-lane is there. We don't even know if Wraith King is going to be that carry Wraith King. It could be very well support.
Right.
Yeah, always on a fly, played it last time.
Yeah, so I think especially when you have a Darkseer in your team, you just put the Iron Shell on the Wraith King. And normally, if it's a support Wraith King running at you, you're like, I'll just tank a stun, I won't deal with them. But if there's an Iron Shell on the support Wraith King, it's kind of a big issue. Like, he's not only going to stun you, but he's going to carry a lot of damage output. Especially if you're a Wisp player, you have to kind of dance around the fight without getting hit. But that's hard when there's like a Wraith King in the middle of you. So I think the early game is actually a lot more important for Meet Your Makers. Because yeah, sure, we know Wisp Tiny could carry well late, but going back to what Andy said, you have to win your lanes and do well early. So that's where Team Empire really does well, though. They generally do win all of their lanes, so we'll see what Mew Maker is going to do.
Now there's a Leech, and with that Leech pick, I kind of go back to the same idea, is if you don't want that Wisp to get level 6, you don't want that Tiny to get level fast, but most importantly the Wisp, because once the Wisp gets level 6, the game changes. If you can just put the Leech in the lane the Wisp is going to be in.
With the Darkseer maybe in.
Yeah, well, you can just like, whatever the Wisp goes, we just deny a lot of experience from him. And if that Wisp, instead of getting like a normal kind of 8-9 minutes level 6, which is okay, you get to 12 minutes level 6, then by that time you have control of the game.
We've seen a lot of Wisp Tiny mid as well, actually, in like Chinese scene. Right?
Yeah.
Was it G playing it the other day as well?
Yeah. Today it was, were you watching the games today? I think it was Orange, DK.
Yep.
It was a Wisp with the Lifestealer and something else. It was the Lifestealer infesting someone else.
Yeah, and then the 3-man TP.
With the 3-man TP. And it was like an offlane kind of, I mean, it could fit in this kind of lineup, but not anymore. They have a Clockwork. Never mind.
Yeah. I mean, Clockwork and Lifestealer are still okay, but you would have Clockwork, Lifestealer, Tiny. Seems questionable, man.
Yeah.
Pretty questionable. But I want to go back a little bit to the Wraith King and why I kind of like the pick more and more by Empire. And it's just the point that Lumi made earlier that it can be played as support, which means that, yeah, it's going to be a support Wraith King. Because as soon as you see the Gyrocopter, this says to me more or less an aggressive lane coming out. You don't want a melee farmer against a Wisp Tiny lane just because of the fact that they can immediately go on that hero and the burst damage would potentially be so high that you can't recover in the 3v3, especially with a Wraith King Lich. You need a hero who has high sustained damage output to be able to isolate one hero and kill it quickly and kind of do like the one and done, right? Like you kill a hero and you get out. So you can't have a melee farmer in that kind of a role. So I like the fact that Empire decided to go with the Gyrocopter here. I assume this is going to be an aggressive lane. Clockwork and Darkseer is seemingly going to be one of those matchups that we continue to see. The only thing that is unknown as of yet is if MYM are going to try to dual lane mid or if they're just going to go ahead and pick like a standard like safe tri-lane, which they could still do both. Enchantress is going to jungle either way. I think having a dual lane mid, a jungle Enchantress, and a relatively safe kind of like solo farming hero could potentially be better because I think the Tiny is more relevant to the game than whatever like 2 role they're going to pick at this stage. Yeah. But it kind of depends.
Could they go ham and pick a Magnus?
Well, a Magnus wouldn't really get anything out of the bottom lane, and plus since they're sacrificing, he kind of needs the experience as well. Well, if I'm MYM, I don't want to put a tri-lane against my Tiny Wisp Enchantress against the Lich tri-lane. Like I mean, even if, for the sake of argument, they just didn't run an aggressive tri-lane, which I think would be really weird by Team Empire, and they just put the Lich bottom. Still really annoying.
Yeah.
I feel like they also need somebody that could survive that tri-lane, because you're looking at 2 nukes at the beginning and Gyrocopter in terms of burst damage output.
Called it.
I feel like
I think he called it for me or Maker, though.
Maybe.
Oh, was it for MYM?
Yeah, he called it for MYM.
You could do it, Toby.
Yeah.
It's okay.
And say, I called it anyways.
Well,
Fine.
it's going to be Magnus here from Team Empire, and I love that choice because it synergizes very well with Gyrocopter. And I think this is one of those games where he probably has to make a BKB. Like, just looking at MYM, if you get like clockwork hooked, no one on your team
Even
has
the
a 4
battery
stat.
assault, like it just.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to necessarily buy a BKB because of hookshot, but what happens after is why you need to buy the BKB.
Wait, are you talking about Gyro or Magnus here?
Gyro.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So the Empower is not always going to be fully effective, but it does offer the opportunity for those big, like you see a Wisp teleport in, you can time your RP, you know, you just basically stun them as soon as they come in, and then you can just kill them after the fact. So I think Empire have a lot of, I would say, AoE as well. I mean, you have Vacuum, you have Chain Frost, Call Down, Flat Cannon, Reverse Polarity. There's a lot of things that you're going to have to worry about if you're MYM. And again, this is a lineup who really doesn't buy BKBs. Like, you don't go BKB on Tiny. It's an item that he specifically doesn't buy because he has such good strength gain. He usually gets stats from going quick Aghanims and buys things like drums. So you want to kind of steer away from things that give you even more survivability. You want to try to find ways to like buff your damage output, but he's not really going to have an opportunity to do that. So he's relying pretty much just on overcharge to supplement his damage here.
Yeah, it really depends on when the mech comes out. I think that's a big point of Tiny survivability as well. Overcharge plus mech plus earn or whatever else could be a big deal, but I'm more curious about the last pick because we both think that Tiny Wisp is going mid.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and
I think it makes more sense, yeah.
So you need a safe laner that could survive, and
Weaver.
That probably is the best one, right?
Windrunner is pretty good as well.
Yeah, but they needed a hero who probably has a decent amount of physical damage output because with their
Windrunner's
team,
not mad, yeah, with Acceptor.
Acceptor, man, it's so good.
But
no, I know. But
we're
I'm
not going to see
saying,
this
like,
game, yeah.
If that Windrunner was put in the same position that we're assuming Link's going to be in, he's not getting an Ag Scepter. Like, that's kind of the problem. But I think that even if there is a dual lane mid, Empire could very just easily rotate the Lich and just have Lich Magnus mid versus Tiny Wisp. I don't think that matchup actually loses if you're Empire. And then you would end up having Vanscore and Silent Bottom against Solo. So I think no matter where MYM go, it's going to be pretty reliant on the Enchantress to make things happen in terms of ganks. If they can't, I think just static lane-wise, Empire are going to win all of their lanes. But we'll see.
I think maybe if you offensive jungle, if they're going to safe lane, like dual lane, that could really throw a spanner in the works as Enchantress. Like,
so you see like Wisp, Tiny, Enchantress, like aggressive?
No. Just send Clockwork up there and then stick Enchantress in the jungle.
Yeah.
Just to contest the dual lane.
Yeah, that's possible. I just don't really know where MYM are planning to take their advantage because their team kind of needs to get that, you know, 10, 15-minute area where you're level 6, you know, you get your Clockwork Hook, you get Relocate, and then you can start actually taking fights. If the Enchantress doesn't have a good early game and doesn't help control the pace, I think Empire are just going to snowball.
Yeah, I'm personally also not a big fan of Enchantress as of late. Like, once you exit the laning stage, she doesn't really offer much to the team, I feel like. Her damage is nice, but I feel that if you're relying on Enchantress for damage, you're kind of in a bad spot. She adds some unique aspects, like being able to dominate summons, you know, Necrobook being one of the more popular items. But I don't think we're going to see Necrobooks this game. So I feel like as a hero, she needs to do a ton in the laning stage. And if she doesn't, she's one of those heroes that gets forgotten as the game progresses. So
well, until you get to the super late game and she gets an Acceptor. And then
no, even with the Acceptor, I feel like doesn't do enough.
We're also forgetting something really important, that Enchantress has one of the worst strength gains.
Yeah.
And cannot buy a BKB in this game. And Empire have a ridiculous amount of magic damage.
Yeah.
And not even just magic damage, but abilities that can hit you and you just take damage from being there.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily have to be like you're getting focused, you'll just get hit. So it's a bit worrisome. And things like Untouchable don't work on Flat Cannon if the person who's using Flat Cannon is actually hitting somebody else.
Right.
So there's going to be a stage in the game where if you don't have like Ghost Scepters, you don't have Force Staffs and Mech, you're going to be having a really bad time.
Well, Ghost Scepter is also kind of your doom here. If you go Ghost Scepter, then you can get Flat Cannon, not Flat Cannon, you can get Call Down, Leech Ultimate, lots of stuff.
So that's the catch, right? That's why I feel like Empire just have a really solid draft. Because no matter what you think of, it's like, oh yeah, well we need BKBs. But if you get BKBs on MYM, all of a sudden your team fight feels very anemic. You're not going to be able to really burst anybody down. You're going to hope that like the Tiny can pretty much do all the work and maybe some extra auto attacks from a few heroes, an impetus or two, I guess.
Yep. So according to VLOT, Mag's having his birthday. If so, happy birthday to Mag.
Resolution, man.
This is why we need like relevant stats.
Like whose birthday it is.
Yeah, like height and birthday and shoe size. I don't care about how many times they play DK. Like that's
apparently
worthless
all the
to me.
Resolution, you spot out crit in the woods here.
You can always
Has he skilled anything yet?
Oh, he's gonna tether away. Yeah,
I was asking if Resolution skilled anything. He hadn't. Okay.
Oh, gonna wear out the jungle, so Enchantress gonna have a tough time. She's fine though.
Do they actually have sentries? Wisp hasn't bought anything yet, so I'm assuming once they see
he's saving for the cook bottle.
Yeah, but I think even if he was saving for a bottle.
Nah, you say Enchantress, you're fine. You go to enemy
jungle.
It's
like, okay, man, you're not gonna get creeps. You're fine, dude.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Walk it off.
Should have landed untouchable.
Oh, they're just gonna offlane the Darkseer. They're not gonna go aggressive. This is actually a bit surprising.
Well, it's going to work out better if Enchantress does go offensive jungle, because that offensive jungle Enchantress will not do anything.
Do you think so?
Against a defensive trolley?
No, against Gyro Skellen King. I think he'll wreck them. I think that lane's weak.
What, Empire's lane?
Yeah, if they have Enchantress creeps in the mix, 2006.
It could be potential for kill, depending on what kind of creep he gets, I guess. But he's going to be walking into potentially two heroes, and it's a solo Clockwork and dual lane mid. So expected lanes from MYM. Empire are the ones who actually have switched up a little bit, but we kind of call the possibility for this too, right? Like dual lane mid, the 1v1 matchup is still going to be there, but it's going to be the Weaver against the Darkseer instead of the Darkseer versus the Clockwork. And then Clockwork's just going to be off-laning more or less against the safe lane Gyro, which does not go well for the Clockwork, like at all.
I think if Mag creep skips here on Darkseer, Link could be in a bit of trouble maybe. Maybe an early point in bugs, wouldn't be.
Well, the thing about Weaver is he doesn't really have any way of counter-pushing, and his way of counter-pushing is basically giving away his survivability in lane. You don't really want to use Shukuchi liberally during the early game because you could very easily get caught by trying to keep the wave pushed out, and then you get in a position where it's like, okay, well, now I'm just dead because I don't have mana. So the more pressure he applies to Link, the easier it's going to be for him. It's kind of like putting like a bounty hunter, for example, against Darkseer. You just have no method of stopping the creep wave from pushing in.
Yeah. But I think that's fine here for Link, though. I feel Weaver's one of those heroes that could last it so well under the tower. But back in the mid lane, a little bit of harass coming in, as well as a tornado. So this lane's going to get extremely difficult for Rise.
No resolution.
Nah, he's fine.
I don't know.
Oh, he's good. Rise doesn't have combo mana.
With the bottle.
I'm going to see the first gank coming on the bot lane. I don't think that's going to kill on Mag. He's going to surge out over there. But Enchant is available. Surge is running out. They're going to go for the dive here. Shuriken. Hadouken.
Look at that Ion Shell, man.
Ion Shell's killing who is Bicep.
He took more damage than the Darkseer did from that gank.
Yeah, it's fine. He's got tangos.
And he has the regen from the Unholy Aura. Oh no. He missed slap.
So we talked about the impact of the Enchantress and how important it is right now. Just looking at the CS, the Tiny is actually doing well. So Rise is leading in terms of overall last hits and denies. But I don't think that's necessarily as important for the side of Empire, because Resolution, as long as he gets his Blink Dagger, he gets his Arcanes or whatever boots he decides to go for. I guess you don't technically need Arcanes anymore since the Blink change.
Yeah.
But once he gets that, that's kind of all he needs. The most important thing is the fact that Silent is more or less free farming, and the Darkseer and Weaver are actually just about even right now. So the laning phase isn't really going that bad for MYM, and we know that their lineup is going to reach this state where they can start ganking with Relocate and such and try to make things happen based off that. And I'm pretty sure Silent's not going to have a BKB by then. So that's pretty much their window of opportunity if you're MYM.
Yeah, free BKB Gyro comes there.
Which is a very easy kill with Wisp Tiny.
Yeah.
At the same time, do you feel like they need to actually do a lot of these kind of easy kill like you suggest? Because Weaver's one of those heroes. Yeah, he's going to get good farm in lane, but he needs so much. He needs a Lincoln Sphere first, ideally, and then back in that Deso, boots upgrade.
Well, the thing is, when you have a Weaver on your team, and then you have a Wisp Tiny, you can basically split push, and then if they gank your Weaver, you help the Weaver, or you like TP somewhere else, right? Because you're not going to have 5 people from Empire moving around the map all the time. It basically just relies on decent wording and trying to anticipate where the action's going to be. That way you can just go in for counter ganks and just trade kills, if anything. And killing the Weaver is going to be a tall order for Empire until they start getting blink daggers.
Yeah, I mean, either you chain stun him or he's going to buy enough time with time lapse, and then there's where your relocate come in, and things get difficult. But back to your point, all the lanes are going okay for MYM. So things are looking good.
Crick gets that haste too. He gets the spite nuke.
I love them tosses.
From always want to fly. Wisp is such a good hero, man.
It is?
It really is.
Like,
except when Lumi TP.
Hey, my Wisp is pretty legit.
Okay, Lumi's Wisp is like your Tusk. Okay.
All right, I just want to point out, as we're talking about how good my Wisp is, Crit has a point into Overcharge at level 3. Generally, you don't get this till level 4, but if you pick it up early, you allow for really good regen.
Yeah, you got the bottle so early,
yeah.
look.
The thing about Wisp is if you're at full HP and mana and you use a bottle charge, even if you're tethered to somebody, it's based on the health and mana that you actually regenerate.
It's not mana.
It's only HP.
It's only HP.
So if you're not missing any, it doesn't give you any.
No, if you're not missing any mana, it still gives the other person mana. HP is...
Yeah, HP.
Yeah. You don't doubt Lumi's Wisp tech.
Oh man, this creep. He needs his chain lightning.
Mag is dead, I think, here. Yeah, Swarm's going to be there. We're seeing Snare.
Surge?
After the Surge,
Wow.
nicely done here. And, oh, he's going to chase after here. Mag Surge is going to be out. Iron Shell doing whatever he can. But Link's going to get that first blood, so he already has a Ring of Health. Would you just go for the quick Voice Stone and just go for Perseverance? Or would you go for, like, yeah, he's going to go Perseverance?
I think it's a good call. He doesn't really need Shreds for the survivability in this lane, and he knows that he has a long time before there's going to be any rotation in order to kill him, at the very least. Like, if I'm Empire, most of my attention is going to be focused around pressuring Crit and Rise, just to make sure that they're not relocating into you, right? Because that's one of the ways that you counter a Wisp, is by taking the fight when the Wisp is actually there, because then relocate's typically used defensively. The other way is to just 5-man, which I don't think Empire will do yet.
I was suggesting that he goes greedy Midas.
Well, Rise is already doing that, but it looks as
Okay.
He could be, yeah.
I think Rise is perhaps not the person you want to do it on because of what Andy's suggesting. Like, you need to be aggressive.
Maybe it's
as
to
a
try and
Tiny.
catch up from the Lich lane, because he's like a solid level and a half behind.
Yeah, that could be a good point. I mean, I think Tiny is actually one of the heroes that could be easily catching up. Like, all you need is your support to sack the neutral camp 2 or 3 times, and you just have to toss it.
Yeah.
I think that Tiny Midas in this situation is actually quite risky.
Yeah.
Just because normally the strength of Tiny is building, like, some people like Phase, some people go Treads, but you go Phase, Drums, or Treads, Drums, and then you have like 1300 HP at like level 7. And then you can just take fights based on the fact that you're very, very hard to focus down. And Empire don't really have a heck of a lot of burst if you're counting out Silent. So I kind of feel like this is almost a needless risk, especially when Link was doing very well on the bottom lane.
Yeah.
Well,
Greed is good.
We'll see if it works out for them. Meanwhile, Ace is doing quite well up on the top lane, double damage in his bottle as well as level 6. So if he wants to come on the mid lane, he could actually get, you know, fairly easy kills, especially on that Lich.
Resolution's just getting
guffed to bits.
Yeah, the harass, man. Rocket spam, toss spam, avalanche spam. Oh, Ace gonna get caught out here. Caldown's coming out from Silent. This could be the first kill for Empire.
Yep.
And they're gonna very easily just kill him. And like we were saying, Greed is good, man.
I just want to go back to the spam that you mentioned in mid lane. Normally, you would assume that the Lich Magnus lane is going to out-spam you with endless mana on, you know, essentially both the heroes, because Resolution is going to be bottle crowing. And he's got the arcane boots, but just that shows the power of Wisp. With a single bottle crow, he could just out-tank harass from 2 heroes.
Well, I think it's 2 things. I think it's obviously, like you said, being able to bottle crow with the Wisp. But I also think it's the fact that if you're Empire and you're sitting mid, Resolution is like, okay, I don't necessarily want to commit to an engagement because I can't see anything. They have a high ground ward on their side of the river, but that doesn't really see into the jungle. So by the time the Enchantress is coming out, there could just be a gank already there. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
And if you get stunned and tossed back...
Ooh, hook on the river here. I'm not sure how he even found them, but double damage being caught out there. Mag taking a ton. He's going to surge and run out of there, but wow, double damage fully paying off there.
What a pick.
Radiant's top tower is
If he didn't have that, there was no way he was killing there.
How do you see him?
Smelt them.
I guess. Well, they had a ward there.
Yeah. But it was up the height.
Yeah, maybe he just saw him like on the edge of the hill or
Yeah.
something. I don't know.
Well, that's actually a pretty good pick after being killed on the top lane.
Yeah, finding solo kills as a clockwork is huge. Like an overlevel clockwork is something that a lot of people, I think, undervalue because the closer you get to level 2 hook, you get the range increase, and obviously you're going to be a lot more durable in fights.
And in this game, actually maxing that cogs is a big deal against a lot of these strength heroes.
Resolution. He's got an invis. He gets the RP on 2. Oh man, this is so bad. Crit and Rise are both just absolute done for. They even dropped that spike wall. All right.
And the Chain Frost, you know?
I'm not sure if that was necessary.
Bit of hate, like.
That had to have been absolute max range on crit. Like, he was so far from that RP.
I think if you're MYM, you're like, well, you know, we got killed mid lane, but that's fine. Like, they drop 3 ultimates and they teleport even the, you know, the Darkseer into it, and Link is just free farming on the bottom lane. Link actually just gone for phase first. Very interesting. Just more harass, I guess, against Mag.
Why did Ace not max battery assault and put 2 levels in Rocket?
I think when you're in a lane that you can't like really contest.
Ace.
Mana.
Ace. Okay, overcharge OP. Crit is gonna just tank one for the team. Ace is going back in. I'm not sure about this. Okay. Silent, easy TP out. He'll be fine.
I think in that scenario, if the Clockwork just runs back and helps tank the Rocket Barrage, they might have both lived. I don't know. It's hard to say. I still think that getting caught out like that in the first place and forcing a defensive TP is definitely not something that you want to do.
Magic stick. If you had a magic stick there, I think it would have been alright.
I don't know, man.
I'm telling you.
It's a good item, but is it that good?
It is one of the best items in the game.
Especially on strength heroes who have very little mana.
Well, yeah, but you weren't referring
mana
to it
was
for the mana. You were
He didn't have mana for battery assault when he had him cogged in.
Well, either way, even if you battery assault there, I think Silent does way more damage. Like, you might have traded a kill. Like, Silent might have died to the tower afterwards, but I think he still died first. Maybe. We need like an instant replay system that has
Link
a what
skewer
if.
on the mid lane. Cooldown's gonna be there as well. Overcharge doing what it can to help, but crit is gonna go down as well. And this is not a good recovery. The hook's gonna miss as well. Bicep coming in, but who the hell is this? Why did that not use the real name?
I don't know. What's his name? Biceps.
It's not Biceps.
That's Unicorn, okay.
Okay. Oh, that's right. That's the guy that changed his name every other day.
There you go. Knowledge is power. So Empire are doing pretty much exactly what we were talking about earlier. They're kind of consistently pressuring the Wisp, not even level 6.
Yeah.
They're just like, yep, you're not going to get a chance to do what you want to do. The Tiny and the Wisp pretty much have to always be together. And this is like one of those situations where I would even argue farming the woods as Wisp Tiny is better, just because you would be able to see Empire coming most of the time. And if they go on somebody like Weaver, again, you can just relocate in and try to go for counter kills.
Yeah.
And Empire still, like, they win as 4 right there, but they're not really fully 5-manning around. They're just going to apply pressure to that particular duo because they know that's where the majority of the threat lies.
Yeah, Link gonna harass on Always Wanna Fly, not gonna really get the kill. I do appreciate the build that Link's going for, though. He's actually maxing Gemini attack, which normally you actually want to max the Swarm afterwards. But this shows that he just want to be by himself, split push and farm, and not really join those teamfight where the Swarm really excels. Top lane, however, Empire's gonna take a fairly easy tower.
Mag just finished his mechanism, and no one on MYM is even like close to a mechanism.
I don't think MYM wants to fight. They don't want to fight, man.
Will they have a choice?
I think so. I think if, let's say, Empire 5-man's bot right now and try to get that T1, you say, all right, I'll just go T1 mid. I feel that when you have Tiny Wisp, you have the mobility, and more importantly, you have the damage to actually go for these tower trades. So if MYM sees Empire 5-manning, they should just avoid fights. And their builds as well as items suggest that they don't want to fight.
Earn on Enchantress? That's a fighting item.
If you get kills. So far, she has not gotten as much
I want to
kills.
actually mention something about that because he goes Earn, but his Tiny goes Midas. It's like...
Yeah, they make no sense.
I don't really think they're on the same page in terms of what their game plan is going to be.
Maybe it's just for the strength.
Yeah, mana regen strength, it's not bad. It's like, hey.
Well, the Enchantress is a hero who's supposed to be active, so you would... I'm not saying that buying the Earn is the wrong choice. I'm saying that buying the Midas...
Top lane, blink it into a call down on Ace. Yep, he dead.
Super dead. Well, he gets a hook shot on 2, but it doesn't really matter.
Well, there's a blink dagger on a support Wraith King.
Yeah.
That's a bad sign. The fight's going to be coming to you whether you like it or not.
It's pretty nasty.
I mean, where do you feel like this game has turned around for Team Empire? Because in the early game, we're talking about how MYM's doing quite well in their lanes, and suddenly...
It was mid on top when they got the ORP on 2, like, and destroyed Wisp and Tiny.
And then the double kill on top, and then double kill mid.
Like,
all right, it's going to be a backstab going on crit. Another blink stun crit is going to tether away. Nice Ava, but I don't think it's going to matter here as these guys are all getting ran down. Here comes the level 1 Swarm on the Link. He's got that phase, so he's doing a lot of right-click damage, but is it really enough? TP gets cancelled. That was from the Clockwork. Tier 1 tower seems to get forfeited here by Meet Your Makers, and Empire is just, picking up these straggling creeps nearby.
They can't really do anything. It's like we mentioned during the draft, Empire have a team that snowballs very, very hard. Like an overfarmed Gyrocopter, Vanscore already having a Blink Dagger on the Wraith King, and it's only 14 minutes in. You have a Blink on Resolution as well, and Mag has the mech. So even though Mag got killed twice, he has 100% of his team stats. It simply doesn't matter because Mag knows that he can go and he can farm elsewhere. Whereas MYM, I mean, I kind of get what they were doing in theory in terms of what the Wisp and Tiny were meant to do with the Weaver. Like, it made a little bit of sense. I just think that spending like 2,000 gold on an item that almost prevents you from fighting and might have even got him killed, to be honest. Like, just flat out because he didn't have the survivability from something else. And he's 0, 2, and 0 as a Tiny. So, Tiny...
Yeah, here's my problem with what happened there. I don't think they should have taken the fight. Again, a Weaver that's teleporting in level 10, 11 with 1 level in Swarms, you're not taking a fight. A Tiny Wisp that doesn't even have an Aghanim Scepter at this point in the game, you're not taking a fight. So I would have appreciated if they just try to split push. But instead, they forced, 3-4 teleports in, they lost 2 or 3, and then they lost Tier 1 tower as well. They need to spread the map open and look for ganks.
Well, the only person that can really go on right now is Silent, and there is a Blink Wraith King to support him, and I believe Mag is probably close enough to be able to help as well. So
they have a TP on Resolution, like, as well with a Blink.
But this is kind of the thing. I don't really think it's good to have the Wisp and the Tiny actually going around and looking for the ganks. Like, somebody else has to look for them. And I think that's really the problem that MYM have right now.
I mean, you have a Clock and Enchantress, right?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, those are the only two who can actually look for the kills. Everyone else has to be farming. Like, Link has to be farming, Ryze has to be farming, the Wisp has to be with the Tiny all the time. There's no way that they can actually separate, which is why I mentioned that when people play Wisp Tiny, a lot of the time what they do is they just farm their jungle. Because they know that they're still going to be maximizing their effectiveness on the map, and if they need to be at a fight, they can be there.
Oh, they need to farm together. Right now, Wisp has lost his partner.
Right. Phase boots on Link here. Is that like just for laning? Is that what that's for?
Yeah, I think when you're maxing Geminate, phase is okay because normally you want the attack speed and the health from treads. But if you max Geminate, like your attack speed isn't fast enough to the point where you're actually like using or waiting for Geminate to come off cooldown. You know what I mean? Like you're going to get the Geminate basically when it comes up every single time. So it's a bit different. Something we don't get to see too often. And I think because of the fact that he was in a lane that didn't really get pressured at all, that it's okay. Like, he didn't need the survivability, like, on demand from the treads. And he'll have his Link-ins before a whole heck of a lot more happens anyway.
Yeah, it's a very good build if you're planning to play a passive game where if an enemy carry comes in lane and try to farm with you, you could just Sukuchi up to him, hit him a couple of times, and you have way more damage output than any other carry in the game, normally. So, but not really happening in this game, considering that he's joining these fights. They're going to get a Tier 1 tower for free, though. That's pretty good for them.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Yeah, again, though, the Wisp and the Tiny are the ones moving around the map. I mean, they're still getting a little bit of farm, and we can see the Empire are now finally starting to react to this. But Silent gets a safe lane Tier 1 in the meantime, so...
Ooh. There's a hook going on to Always Want to Fly. I think Always Want to Fly is just going to die before he drops any spell. No, Mag's going to pop off a mech. Not going to matter. Chain Frost is going to bounce. Link walking out of the way. Calldown's going to drop on everybody, but Force Staff out from Resolution, and everybody's just melting. Link's going to get himself out of there. Godlike, a stun comes on with a Sentry Ward. Oh my god, all they're going to die? Tether away to the creeps? Tether? No Tether? Okay.
I think he's dead anyway.
He's dead, yeah. Blink is coming off cooldown.
Force Staff and Blink as well.
Oh, that's a bollocken.
What a skewer by Resolution, man. Holy, what a player. I'm so glad I picked that guy for my fantasy team.
How are you doing in fantasy?
I'm beating Shane this week.
Yeah, I have Mag and Silent though.
The week's still young though, right? Because today's games and tomorrow's games.
So it does count for this week. It is this week.
No, yeah, for the fantasy league it is.
It's the entire week. Yes.
For the fantasy league it is. For like MVP it isn't.
So it's technically the same week. That's all I'm hearing.
Okay, if we're talking in like just specifically, is it the same week? Then yes. The week ends on Sunday.
Okay. Or Saturday, some culture.
Apparently.
Apparently. Ain't nobody got time for that.
For other cultures. Holy crap.
America.
All right, so Silence got his BKB. It's 18 minutes in. This guy's got 2,700 gold BKB Dominator face.
Yeah.
Good God.
It's pretty good. Like, Resolution has 2k Blink Force.
Yeah. It's not really looking that good for MYM. I just...
relocate myth.
Yeah.
Right.
They're going to find somebody. Always Want to Fly actually going to get completely annihilated there.
Got him.
Of all the people on the team to relocate and dump everything
No, that's pretty good.
I mean,
relocate and get a kill.
Yeah,
Leave, no one dies.
I mean, another way to look at it, Andy, is that's the only person they could relocate and kill, because everybody else
I don't think that's true.
I mean, there's 2 Blink daggers
They
on
can
the
kill
other
everyone,
heroes.
actually.
Man could just surge out, man.
Vanscore, actually?
Oh,
yeah. Silent. Just solo killing the Enchantress, no big deal.
So normally in this case, for me, your Maker, I was like, you know what? You're fine. Even though your early game and your mid game is sucking hard, you still have a Tiny Wisp, which is a great late game here, like combo. You have Weaver, which if you get far enough, could carry the late game. The problem is, I don't think they have the base defense to actually drag out the game if they need to drag it out. Because Enchantress, not exactly the best high ground hero, clock's alright. But if Empire just goes at you with Aegis and up your high ground with, you know, Blink RP, Chain Frost, and a Blink Vacuum, I just don't think Meteor Maker have the high ground defense for it. So I feel like Empire, whenever they want to do so, they could just take these outer towers and proceed to go high ground.
Yeah, most likely that's going to be the case. And because Silent has such ridiculous farm, he's probably going to have a Butterfly in the next, what, like 2 or 3 minutes, give or take, maybe even less than that.
Ryze has Ags, though. On the way
this resolution, they're going to Blink, stun. Oh, it's going to skewer towards 2-man RP. Vacuum back into the wall. And Ryze is going to be dead.
That's fucking awesome.
You know what the sad thing is for Ryze? Midas just came off cooldown. Like, value is lost.
Was on the way on the Chiquita.
Okay, well, maybe
it's a boar.
The Chiquita.
How? It's not a banana. It's a boar.
It's Chiquita.
All right, whatever, man. I don't even know what you're on today.
All right, top lane, can I get a counter gank? Okay.
He's got a BKB. I don't know what they expect to do here. He'll just kill them both.
Okay.
Black Cannon? Oh, he got cogged again. Unfortunate.
Look, man, he drained like 600 mana.
You need that new rocket against Link, man. It's Invis unit.
That ability is still terrible.
GG.
It actually would be good this game, because
it just needs to be invulnerable.
No.
No way.
No, okay.
It's like 400
Andy,
damage.
it's still good this game.
It's fine.
Because it auto-cancels Lincolns as soon as you cast it. At like a billion range.
That's true.
Yeah.
One of the few spells in the game that actually auto-cancels Lincolns on cast.
Rod of Ewi?
Well, that's like on cast and
he
also...
said abilities, not items.
There you go, listen to me.
Sorry.
Semantics. It's true, though. True. It does have its use, I guess, in this particular game, but... I guess when things are getting really hectic, you can get a missile off, and maybe it'll actually like not get hit. You know,
yeah,
like in a 5-on-5 team fight.
Yeah. Like, what about the good old Rocket Max build at the mid lane?
That's actually like, super annoying.
Yeah, you just keep spamming it. 1v1 mid, the tower don't kill it no more, right?
Like basically the way you would play it is you would go for Rocket Barrage and you would go for Homing Missile, and as soon as they start attacking the missile, you just run at them.
Yeah.
And then they have to run away. So
where you at?
It's pretty annoying stuff. I've actually played against it before.
Empire, and then take the Roshan. It's essentially free.
Yeah, this is actually completely free.
Literally free.
I don't know why they're having Vanscore tank when they have a Butterfly Helm of the Dominator Gyro sitting like 2 feet behind him.
Hey, man,
so he doesn't get stunned. Max DPS.
What? It doesn't matter.
Max DPS.
He's got Empower too, man. He hits for 300.
Yeah, he's 10-0-3.
So I wanted to talk about like the matchup, like Gyrocopter versus a Tiny team. Like there's that really short window in the game where the Gyrocopter is very susceptible to the Tiny just basically giving him. And then you have like this, okay, now the Gyro has a BKB. If we relocate in, he can BKB before we get there every single time.
Yep.
And plus the damage output that he has and being able to call down on where you're relocating is actually very, very troublesome.
Flak against Wisp as well, because he's always going to hit the Wisp with the Flak.
Yeah.
And he's never going to escape.
Did you guys catch when Ryze picked up his Calling Blade? Is it
after Aghanims? Yeah, you get
was it after Aghanims?
Yeah,
it's just like speed up your farm.
Same with AM.
Yeah, it's the same idea. Yeah, for cleave.
32% damage, man.
It's really good.
Literally killing 32% faster.
Killing the tower pretty fast as well. They're gonna trade tier 2s.
I think it's not bad for MAM.
Actually, a good trade.
Unless.
Can I get it though?
Unless,
get out of there, boys!
Oh no!
Crit is gonna relocate out.
Oh wee!
All right.
That was nice.
Well, until Crit comes back in 10 seconds. It won't be
but
nice
he saved Ryze, worth it.
You fill up his
balls.
Okay.
Mid lane looks like there's a fight
maybe
going on.
Maybe they didn't save him.
Maybe
he actually killed him. Maybe he killed him, and Unicorn's going to end up going down 2 here. It's Silent with another kill. It's beyond godlike. He's 11-0 right now at 23 minutes in. I think it's safe to say Empire might have a lead.
Yeah, Sly, let me have a little look. Just to go.
It ain't great.
No.
If you're an MYM fan.
The slide, that fucking graph.
Oh, Vanscore is going to get caught by the hook shot. Tower still dies to Silent, but...
Oh, Vanscore's balls deep.
A little bit of mana burned. You know, space created, as it were. That was a space-creating relocate.
Well, they're going to have to take this fight once again as Tiny's going to be backing up in 8 seconds. But Vanscore sitting up there with, like, no health.
He comes back to life, Lumi. I don't know.
Yes,
have you seen this?
That's how the hero works. I am aware of this.
Alright,
yes.
making sure.
You can't kill what's already dead. What's dead may never die.
Except when he dies once. Then you can kill him.
Nah, you don't know that.
He hasn't died this game. We don't know.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
We have no facts.
Has he actually not even used Reincarnate yet?
I don't think so, no. I haven't heard the crazy music.
Sad life. Crazy music.
So I think the one thing that we can take away from this game is if your MYMs line up, you pretty much had to succeed during the mid-game. And if you don't succeed with a Wisp Tiny during the mid-game, sure, there's always the comeback potential, which is kind of nice, but not when you have a Gyrocopter who has this level of farm.
They killed Magbottom, which is pretty good, but they should have rotated more.
They killed him twice.
Twice?
Yeah.
They should have rotated more on Enchantress, I think.
But it also goes back to the item choices that they were going for, right? Ryze got win for a Midas. I mean, doesn't really help your mid-game. Compared to like an Acceptor or Yasha.
I think his mentality when buying the Midas is, I'm already pretty tanky anyway, I have good strength gain, I'll still be able to fight because I have a Wisp. It'll just help me get to like level 11 and 16 faster, which the ultis do make a pretty big difference. Ryze secures the safe lane tier 2 in the meantime, but I think it's one of those things where it's easy to justify why you would get it in a situation like this, but then getting it, it's like, okay, now I actually just died twice. I'm 0-2-0, you know, a couple, like what, 5-10 minutes ago.
Holy shit, they're...
Yeah. I mean, I'm saying this team is so good at just pushing down waves and as well going straight to the building. Look at also mid lane. Yeah, sure, Ryze might be in a little bit of trouble here. Relocate him out. RP's going to go and crit. Crit is so dead, but Ace is going to come in with the hook just to buy a little bit of time. Ace TPing him out. Back in the mid lane, though, Link is already working on the tier 2 tower. I think they're going to get that as well. Ryze, Avalanche is going to hit on everybody. There's going to be Blink Skewer. Ryze is biding time. Space created.
Oh my
Look
God.
at these blinks.
Well...
Worth though, right? Got 2 tier 2 towers. Meanwhile, in the base though, Silence coming in. They got Link. Link's fine, right? Link's gonna just drive him away. Oh, Link's got this.
He's an MKB, man.
Yeah, man.
He packs a punch.
Where's your evasion at? I think he's gonna die here.
Yeah, he is.
He's got Aegis.
Oh my god, that damage.
They need to run.
No, you cog him. There you go.
He has a BKB still.
Cog him. There you go. Burn his mana.
Mana burned. All right, man.
I think he just like
goes and hits the racks. Yeah,
clicks.
they can't kill him. There's no way.
Oh, they can't kill him with his team around him.
Oh, eat rocket.
Just cog him, Lumi says. No, you're good, man. Just cog him.
Like, no, cog him to push him away is what I'm saying. Like what he did for that mana burn.
Took what?
This is why you're 2,500 rated.
24 right now. Not there yet.
Lumi keeps playing with the sub, so they boost his rating.
One day.
Oh,
that's a victory SNY, I think, purchased by Silent.
It's for the movement speed, man, so you can kill the base faster.
In his stash. Yes.
Who was it who always bought SNY on this hero? Loda, was it?
Yeah, I think he went like SNY
It's actually
shotgun.
pretty legit, man. I think people really undervalue SNY as an item.
Well,
like in some situations, not in this one, of course, because he needed a BKB first. But in some games, I think you can get away with going that item specifically for stats when you have a hero who has such tremendous damage output anyway, like a Gyrocopter.
Okay, can I just point out that Silent actually hasn't used his BKB? It's just like a...
Yeah, it's just like
it's for show.
It's a cosmetic.
He's like, you know what? If I have to,
don't force me, guys.
I'm going to BKB, and it's going to be 10 seconds. And then you're going to be sad because you'll do no damage.
Actually, if you... Back to your SNY point, like games are being decided 20 minutes in the game. SNY is like the perfect item if you want to play a 20-minute game. Here we go. We're going to see a big fight coming out. One person is just dead immediately. Vanscore is just right-clicking for what it's worth. There's a 10-second BKB, and he is just hitting the hell out of Crits. Crits is dead. Ryze is going to be dead as well. That BKB is still online. Yep. And the JJ comes out.
Yeah, that's about all she wrote for that one, guys. Why couldn't they just stop at 4 kills and 20 kills?
Oh. 420 blaze it.
420 blaze it. Okay, so we know we talked about the draft and how we probably favored Empire from the get-go. I'm trying really hard not to drop this monitor on the floor.
It's not expensive.
It's probably more expensive than I'd care to pay. But anyway, so MYM had a draft that I think, in a way, could have worked. I don't want to say they lost the game because of their draft, but I think because of the draft that they had, when the few picks that actually occurred, like when Rise died twice, I mean, he was 0-7.
Yeah, Crit died quite a lot, 9 times as well.
Like Tiny's hero, or excuse me, Tiny's role as a hero, in my opinion, is you want to have that mid-game presence to be threatening. And I think a Midas kind of delays what you can actually do on that hero. So I don't know if Midas was maybe the best choice. Maybe just go something like Treads Drums, like normally buy a wand and just try to take like small fights. Because in small fights, Tiny is great. Because you can just kill one hero pretty much immediately and be like, yeah, okay, we do the one and done, you know?
Yeah.
And because Empire were focusing him so hard after the Midas, like of course you would do it anyway because the Wisp and a Tiny are the ones that you want to follow around in this lineup. But because of that, I think it like backfired pretty hard.
Well, if you look at Empire's team, they don't have anyone you can really blow up except for Lich. Like all the rest of them are like super tanky.
Yeah.
So maybe that was his thought process.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think people really underestimate combo damage. It's very high. And plus, if you get like spirits on top of that from the Wisp, and maybe just like a rocket flare or something like that, that's a dead hero.
Yeah, I mean, overcharge right clicks. That's also it. The big thing for me is I think MYM underestimate the fact that they need to take down tier 1 towers. I feel that with Enchantress, and the fact that you have a Tiny Wisp, you need to spread the map open. Once you take it down to tier 1 tower, you put on a couple of wards in their jungle. That makes your Tiny Wisp combo a lot more threatening.
He even maxed out Enchant really early as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the common build, but again, where's the effect of that Enchantress past the laning stage?
Right,
I don't know. All right, that's going to be game 1. What's coming up next, boys? Because I don't know.
Fnatic?
I think a good game.
Yeah, Fnatic
Dog, I think.
Not to say that was not a good game.
You're a flamer, man.
A better game.
Who are you going to call bad now?
What? Everybody's great. Oh, Demon's bad. Yeah, Demon's
No.
bad. Well, you said that.
No, that wasn't me. That was you.
That was you.
It was funny, though.
All right, we have Dog versus Alliance coming up. No, Dog versus Fnatic coming up next. Game 2 of our 6 today.
Yep.
And it's going to be exciting. Our enthusiasm cannot be contained. Let's take it away to a break, guys.